The seas surrounding America are under siege. While Theodore Roosevelt fought enemies within his borders, a foreign superpower quietly advanced through the waters of the Atlantic and Pacific. Warships circle the coasts, economic blockades threaten to suffocate the nation, and the world watches in suspense. But Teddy Roosevelt is not a man who bows to threats. In 1907, he sent the Great White Fleet around the world to demonstrate American power. Now, more than a century later, he is about to do it again. What you are about to witness is not just a naval battle, it is the resurrection of American maritime dominance. And when Teddy Roosevelt decides to act, entire oceans tremble. Do you believe one man can change the destiny of a nation surrounded on all sides? Leave your opinion in the comments. The morning briefing at the White House begins like any other. Intelligence reports scroll across screens in the Situation Room. But today, something is different. The Director of National Intelligence walks in carrying a folder marked with the highest classification level. Theodore Roosevelt looks up from his desk, his weathered face showing the scars of recent battles. Physical scars from an assassination attempt, political scars from years of fighting corruption, cartels, tech monopolies, and a media war that nearly destroyed his credibility. But none of that prepared him for what he is about to hear. The director opens the folder. Satellite imagery spreads across the table. Dozens of warships, some positioned off the coast of California, others near Florida, a few lurking in international waters near the Gulf of Mexico, all belonging to a single foreign superpower. Roosevelt leans forward, his jaw tightening. This is not a training exercise. This is a calculated encirclement, an act of intimidation designed to strangle American commerce without firing a single shot. The Pentagon sends its top admirals. They arrive at the White House within the hour. Maps are unfurled, data is presented, and the truth is devastating. For decades, while America focused on land wars in distant deserts, rival nations invested billions in naval superiority, hypersonic missiles that can sink aircraft carriers before they even detect the threat, submarines so quiet they are invisible to sonar, electronic warfare systems that can disable entire fleets with the push of a button. The American Navy, once the most powerful maritime force in history, has become obsolete. Admiral Chen, a decorated veteran with 30 years of service, speaks carefully. He chooses his words with precision, but the message is clear. If this escalates into open conflict, the United States Navy cannot guarantee victory. The room falls silent. Staff members exchange worried glances. This is the kind of statement that ends careers. But Chen is not interested in politics. He is interested in reality. And the reality is that America is vulnerable. Roosevelt stands. He walks to the window overlooking the South Lawn. Beyond the trees, beyond the monuments, beyond the Potomac River lies an ocean. And beyond that ocean, enemies who believe America has grown weak. They have watched him fight internal wars. They have seen him attacked by his own media, nearly assassinated by conspirators, forced to battle corporations and cartels simultaneously. And they have concluded that this is the moment to strike, to humiliate the bull moose, to prove that the age of American dominance is over. Teddy turns back to the room. His eyes burn with the same fire that drove him up San Juan Hill over a century ago, the same determination that built the Panama Canal, the same refusal to accept defeat that defined every moment of his extraordinary life. He speaks slowly, each word deliberate. We have done this before. In 1907, I sent 16 battleships around the world, not to start a war, but to prevent one. The Great White Fleet showed every nation on Earth that America could project power anywhere, anytime. We painted those ships white so they could be seen from miles away. We wanted the world to know we were coming. And when that fleet returned home 14 months later, no one doubted American strength again. He pauses. The room is completely still. Roosevelt places both hands on the table and leans forward. We will do it again, but this time we will not take 14 months. We will not ask for permission, and we will not paint our ships white. We will build a fleet so advanced, so powerful, so technologically superior that our enemies will tremble at the sight of it, and then we will sail it straight into their faces." Admiral Chen clears his throat. "With respect, Mr. President, building that kind of fleet takes years. We do not have years." Roosevelt smiles, that grim, predatory smile that his enemies learned to fear. "Then we will not take years, Admiral. We will take months. Mobilize every shipyard in America, cancel every contract that is not essential, redirect every resource to this single mission. We are going to reinvent naval warfare, and we are going to do it faster than anyone believes possible." The meeting ends. Orders are issued. Within hours, the entire military-industrial complex shifts into emergency mode. Engineers receive calls in the middle of the night, defense contractors are summoned to emergency briefings, and across America, from San Diego to Norfolk, shipyards light up like cities under siege. The message is clear. Theodore Roosevelt has declared war, not on a nation, but on the very concept of American weakness. The first challenge is not building ships, it's building the right ships. Roosevelt assembles a team unlike any in military history. Admirals who understand traditional naval warfare, Silicon Valley engineers who pioneered artificial intelligence, aerospace designers who built hypersonic missiles, nuclear physicists who can reimagine power systems, and one name that shocks everyone: Eli Zhao, the former CEO of a tech giant that Roosevelt himself broke apart just months ago for antitrust. Zhao walks into the Pentagon conference room expecting hostility. Instead, Roosevelt extends his hand. "I destroyed your monopoly because it was corrupt, but I never questioned your genius. Your company built systems that track billions of people in real time. Now I need you to build systems that track enemy fleets." Zhao hesitates. Then he shakes the hand. "The past is the past, but only if we build something better than anything China or Russia can imagine." Roosevelt grins. "That is exactly what I'm counting on." The project is named Operation White Lightning. Not subtle, not secretive. Roosevelt wants the world to know something is coming. Shipyards in Virginia, California, Mississippi, and Maine operate around the clock. Workers are offered triple pay. Retired naval architects are called back from retirement. 3D printing technology, previously used only for prototypes, is scaled up to manufacture entire hull sections. Automated welding systems work 24 hours a day. The noise is deafening. The progress is astonishing. Traditional destroyers take 3 years to build. Roosevelt demands functional vessels in 6 months. "Impossible," say the experts. "Then make the impossible possible," he replies. The design philosophy is radical. Instead of building massive, vulnerable aircraft carriers, the new fleet focuses on smaller, faster, networked ships. Each vessel is equipped with directed energy weapons, lasers that can intercept missiles at the speed of light, railguns that can fire projectiles at 7 times the speed of sound, drone swarms that launch from vertical tubes and operate autonomously. But the real innovation is underwater. Zhao's team developed a new class of submarine unlike anything in existence. No propellers, no noisy engines. These vessels use magneto-hydrodynamic propulsion, moving through water by manipulating magnetic fields. They are completely silent, invisible to sonar, capable of staying submerged for months without surfacing. Each submarine carries enough firepower to cripple an entire enemy fleet. And they are controlled by artificial intelligence so advanced it can predict enemy movements 3 steps ahead. Roosevelt visits the Norfolk shipyard personally. He arrives unannounced, wearing a simple jacket and no tie. Security scrambles to keep up as he walks directly onto the construction floor. Welders stop mid-work, stunned to see the president standing 15 feet away. He climbs scaffolding to inspect a destroyer under construction. He asks questions that reveal he has studied every technical manual. He shakes hands with electricians, machinists, and programmers, and then he gathers them all in the shipyard plaza. Hundreds of workers stand in the cold morning air. Roosevelt does not use a microphone. His voice carries naturally, honed by decades of public speaking. "You are not just building ships. You are building the future of this nation. Every weld you complete, every system you install, every hour you work brings us closer to victory. There are people across the ocean right now who believe America is finished. They believe we are too divided, too distracted, too weak to respond. They are wrong, and you are going to prove it. The workers erupt in applause. Not polite, political applause. Raw, genuine emotion. Men and women who have worked in these shipyards their entire lives, watching American industry decline, suddenly feel purpose again. Roosevelt does not leave immediately. He stays for hours, moving from station to station, learning names, asking about families, listening to suggestions. One elderly welder approaches him nervously. "Mr. President, I worked on carriers back in the 80s. I never thought I would see America build like this again." Roosevelt places a hand on the man's shoulder. "Neither did I, but here we are, and we are not stopping until the job is done." As weeks pass, the impossible becomes reality. The first destroyer, christened USS Indomitable, completes sea trials ahead of schedule. The second, USS Relentless, follows 2 weeks later, then 4 more in the same month. Production accelerates.